Yay, welcome guys. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, September 28th. Um, we are almost into October with only 3 months left. 3 months left. Actually, we're past the 3 month mark to Christmas. Like it's less than 3 months to Christmas right now, which is insane. Fastest year ever. And we've got so many lives to change with the fact that we can help somebody come in and earn an extra $1,320 in cash incentives and bonuses in their first 14 days before Christmas. That is absolutely huge. Like I would have died for that when I was bartending and waiting tables. I would have loved for a friend to approach me and go, "Hey, I think I've got a way for you to make a couple grand before Christmas." I would have been like, "Let's do it. What do I got to do?" So don't underestimate the power of those VIP bonuses, especially this time of year, because there's somebody out there right now looking for an opportunity like this to put Christmas presents under the tree. We are doing our normally scheduled Tuesday leadership Zoom. You guys, if you're brand new and you're joining us, thank you for joining us, and keep this in your phone because we do this call every single week, and it's the same link. The only difference is every week we have a different guest. And I'm super excited because we have had twin month. um, I giggle because I joke that twin is like Madonna or like Cher, like she only needs one name, right? Like we all know who twin is. And so it was fitting to dedicate a whole month to twin and like her awesome crazy leaders under her because they're killing it. They haven't stopped killing it since they joined this business, and it's just been awesome to watch them grow, and I'm super excited today to interview Ashley David, who is amazing, and I can't wait for everybody to hear her story. And we're going to jump right in. Ashley, I kind of want everybody just to get familiar with who you are and your backstory and what you were doing before you joined Lavelle, and if you knew anything about a home-based business or network marketing before that, and then how did you find Lavelle and kind of how you got started with Lavelle, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me and thanks for coming on. I'm super nervous. I took a chill like probably 15 minutes ago. But yeah, I've been here now for about 3.5 years. I am a mom of two. I have been in the dental industry working in orthodontics for 9 years. I am a teen mom. I was pregnant at 15. I am from Winnipeg, up in Canada. Had my daughter at 16, and we actually ended up moving out to Calgary shortly after we had her. So me and my husband have been together for about 17 years now. And it's been a whirlwind here. A little bit about myself. In high school, I was very introverted, blended in the crowd. I didn't want to be out there. I didn't want to be noticed. And it was one of those things that just kind of kept to myself. Do what you got to do. It was one of those, that defining moment. Being a teen mom was, I didn't want to let that define me. So way back in high school, you hear the nastiest things, and it's made me who I am. And I think with this opportunity, I think everyone has to understand, like, life is going to throw curveballs at you. You have to be open to every single opportunity. You have to look at things at a different perspective. You have to be open-minded and open to learn, and know that things don't happen to you, they happen for you for a reason. And so fast forward, I didn't want to be that stereotypical mom that I dropped out of high school. So I actually, with the supportive family, me and my husband graduated on time. We went to college. My husband was an electrician, and we actually live with our in-laws. So Filipino culture is very, very, you live with your family, and you save up to buy your place, and you go to school, and then, out on your way. And so We had our second child. I was 22 years old. I just started dental college. I was laid off in the oil and gas industry. And I was like, well, what the hell am I going to do right now? I have been at an administration desk job for a number of years since I was 18. I worked downtown. I did the office life. I got laid off. And what do you do? So I ended up going to college because there is no excuse to pick yourself back up. And so I did a condensed program for orthodontics for 6 months with my 1-year-old son on my lap while I would study. So the reason why I'm telling you guys all of this is because you guys can do this opportunity. And I want to just share the hurdles in my life that I've gone through. And it makes you a stronger person. Never have that victim mentality, victim mindset of, I can't do this. Why is it happening to me? Because, we've all been through something. Life happens and things present themselves to you for a reason. And I always train my team that way. And, shortly after going to dental college, I actually, my dad also passed away from lung cancer. So the TAC DFT is like everything to me because that's a huge part of my life. And so, anyways, fast forward, did dental college. We bought our place. We've been here for about 3.5 years now. New homeowners. I was managing a dental clinic after being around for 9 years. And I always struggle with my weight. I was a coffee person, and I'm sure you guys seen the reel and everything, and coffee was my breakfast. I've never been a breakfast person since high school. I was pretty active, tried every single diet under the sun. And it was something that it never made me feel good, and I'm like, why is this so hard? Why can't I bounce back like her? Why, so then, the years go by and all of a sudden you're not bouncing back to your old weight, even though I have been at the gym 3-4 times a week. My priority was working my full-time job, managing a clinic, and maybe work out. But then I always had the mom guilt of, mom, don't go to the gym, stay home. And so we were in this new home, and then it's just funny the way life works sometimes, because I was tired of the dental industry. I was tired of going to a different practice, and it's the same thing, different story. It's the same thing, you're running around that rabbit race, and even though it's not corporate, you're still climbing a ladder because you want that raise. You want to work your ass off for it, So it's one of those things that I've been there, done that for 9 years in the dental industry. And it's funny because everything is sales and it's healthcare. I get that. But at the same time, there comes a point where they're going to get you to push Invisalign. They're going to get you to push, make sure you do this retainer thing at the end of whatever, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're running a business as well. And it was just the same thing. I was tired of it. I remember coming to this last office and I said to myself, you know what, this is the last office. I told my husband, this is the last office I'm ever doing. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but it's not going to be this anymore. And it's funny because I didn't even know what Thrive was. So then fast forward, being in this place, and then fast forward to September 2018, and I saw a family friend post a before and after photo. And I was not a negative person, but very, very closed-minded. I hated anything to do with sales. I've never been in network marketing. I don't even have experience in any kind of background in that sales aspect ever. All I wanted to all I knew was I wanted to help people. So yeah, I saw it and I messaged her. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? What is this secret? What is it? What do you want? I need to know. And it's because of someone I knew. And, she was consistently posting. And then after that, she's like, it's no secret. I'm thriving. Have you heard of it before? And I kind of was like, no, I haven't heard of it, but I want to try it. I remember it was a September long weekend, and me and my husband, we took the kids out, just a little mini family long weekend vacay. And I am secretly talking because it's an expense. I was already paying for the gym membership. I would fill my Starbucks card $25 a week because it was literally across the street from my dental office. And it was one of those things where secretly talking, and then I'm like, how am I going to convince him that I'm going to do it? Or maybe I'll just do it and not tell him. But it came to a point where she was kind of like, I was like, I want what you have, but I don't want to do what you do. I don't want to post. I don't want to share anything. I was like, I don't want to sell anything. And she's like, you don't have to sell anything. Like, just try it, you know, like, and her transformation was amazing. And that's how closed-minded I was in the beginning. It was actually pretty funny. So my plan was sneak it in, like, talk to my husband about it. And I was like, can I do this? I was like, you know, I know it costs this much, but I'm going to commit to it and I want to give it an honest try because, you know, if you've tried so many things like I have and you're pretty active and you're still not at where you want to be physically, you have to commit, especially if you're going to spend that dime on yourself. Right. So he was like, okay, yeah, go ahead. And if it works, maybe I'll try it later on. And then, so that was in September 2018. I tracked my progress. I was letting one of my girlfriends know, I'm like, hey, I'm on this thing. She was also a teen mom. And I was like, hey, I'm on this thing. I'll let you know if it works, but we'll hope for the best. So my first month, I actually didn't even lose any weight. I did lose a little bit of bloating. And then my second month, I was like, should I buy another month? I got to up it and maybe add balance. And then what do you call that? My girlfriend ended up trying it with me, and the second month with balance like changed my whole world. And I was like, everyone needs to know about this. And the thing was, my mind did not go to sales. It went to who everyone needs Thrive. I was like, oh man, you know, and so my girlfriend started on it. She hid it from her husband as well. It's just funny. That's just how it works, right? Because you don't know. And it's one of those things you want to spoil yourself, you know, and the mom guilt. It's like, oh, it's a big price to spend on yourself, you know, and you kind of get guilty a little bit. But you know what, at the end of the day, like it does happen for a reason. And when I had my second month done and I did a transformation photo, because the person who signed me up was like, don't forget to track your pictures. You got to send it. Let's see. And I, for like a couple weeks, I was like, I don't want to show you. That's so embarrassing. Like my butt and my boobs are hanging out and it's just so embarrassing. So, I eventually caved and I was like, okay, I do have to show you because this is actually like freaking pretty amazing. And so she was like, okay, well, she's like, oh my God, you have to share it, this and that. And she's like, you know what? Like, if you want to thrive for free, like you can get your products for free if you really love it that much and continue on, like just hit promoter. And that person that before was like, I don't want to sell this stuff, all of a sudden was like, okay, I do want free products. I didn't even, to be honest, I didn't really care about the bonuses. Like, I don't even think I knew, to be honest, because I was very close-minded. You know, you get added to the chats and I muted everything. And I was like, not really part of those Zooms. I probably did not plug into Zoom for a good number of months, at least 6 months in the first like year of my business. Like first 6 months, I did not plug in. I was like, I'm too busy for that. I work a full-time job. I'm the last one to leave at the clinic. You know, the kids got to eat. I got to help them with their homework. Like I was very like, kids are my excuse. And it's crazy how fast things change because my friend that actually wanted to, like, she tried it and she hit promoter shortly after. She's like, she ran with it, but she had entrepreneurships like experience. She ran her own business. And you know, be proud of yourself. Yeah, this is your first Zoom, because it's a lot more than I did in my first 6 months. So whatever you guys can do, be proud. And you know, in the first 2 weeks of my, like first 3 weeks of my business, I didn't hit any bonuses at all. I just wanted to thrive for free. That was never, an income was never my main thing, because we were okay. There was nothing to complain about in my life that I'm like, I didn't want more. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is when you be a part of this community and you show up and you get to know your teammates, you get to know different leaders on different Zooms and see who speaks to you, like it will open your eyes. And the more you see who speaks to you, all of a sudden this fire lights in your belly. So my friend, she friggin', you know, it just takes that one person. And if you're on that Jason Camper call yesterday, it takes one person to change your business. And I hope all of you believe in that, because that one person will come. And she came in here, killed it, crushed it, hit her bonuses, hit her 4K. It was rank advancement at the time. January 2019 was the last rank advancement month. And at the time, you guys are so lucky, because at the time was you hit 4K, you get 2,000 USD. And now they're matching dollar for dollar for that. It was not like that before. you know, and I didn't even know what a rank advancement was. And no lie, so me and my girlfriend, we were friends since high school. We went to Orlando, and she was in her bonus period. She actually did a Zoom with Armanda Arnett. And here I am, as her upline. And I was like, we were in Disney World, you know, traveled all the way from cold Canada. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we're on family vacation. I'm her upline, guys. And she's doing Zooms on vacation, hitting her bonuses. And I didn't get it. I still did not see the vision. She knew it before me. And that's the thing. Like, it takes that one person. And then I still didn't take it seriously then, guys. She hit 4K. We hit 4K together by the end of that month. And no lie, at the end of January, 2 days at the end of the month, the person that signed me up was, hey, you know, you're like 200 QV away from 4K. And I was like, I was like, what is that? What does that mean? I did not plug in. I didn't even plug into my own downlines interview with Amanda Arnett. Like, that's how non-present I was here. And anyways, we ended up hitting 4K together, and that belief check really changed it for me. It wasn't even the VIP bonus. I missed all of that. I was very close-minded. And that was the first year ever that I got to put my kids in a summer camp. Summer camp and all these activities throughout the whole school year is so expensive. You know, it doesn't even matter what you do. It takes like an arm and a leg to even afford those types of things, you know? And so fast forward to how it kind of like really changed was I actually attended my first local. Again, my rock star, my ace, actually was going to share her story at this living room local here in Calgary. And I was like, oh, she's speaking, she's nervous. I have to be a good friend. I have to go. And I went with the intention of, I'm being a good friend. It's not like I was, everyone on our team knows this story, but I'm like, it was Game of Thrones, like starting the last season. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna miss this. I was telling my husband, like, don't watch it without me. and I was like, but I'm gonna be a good friend. I'm gonna go. So I went, my first living room local, and honestly, that changed it for me. I saw the auto bonuses for the first time. I heard stories. You know, I was never in any pictures. I was the one taking the pictures because I didn't even want to show myself that I was there. And it's just crazy that that's who I was 3 years ago. That changed it for me, because as I was leaving, and the person that was hosting, she was just like, you just do it. You know, if I can do it, why can't you do it? And I was kind of like, yeah, why can't I? So I'm driving home, I'm on the phone with my husband, and I'm like, hey, like, I saw a freaking X5 and Alexis paid for by Lavelle. I was like, no way. That is no way. And it just, he was like, really? And then we kind of took a look at the comp plan. And I was like, guys, I signed promoter in November 2018, and this was in March 2019. I still did not catch the vision. It's just crazy. And I remember Twin was doing a dream board contest. So like with my team last night, we were doing dream boards together as a team on Zoom and talking about dreams and goals. And I highly suggest that you guys do that. And I remember Twin was like, okay, do your dream board. You know, you guys will get entered into a contest. Same thing. I went in with the attention that I'm like, I just want to win a prize. I'm going to do my dream board. I didn't even have any emotional really connection. There's some inspiring words. I went to go to my husband, and I was like, hey, like, what car do you like? Let me just print it and put it on here and see what happens. Like I'm in a contest, so I went to the dollar store and grabbed my stuff. And so that was March, April. And then Darpalooza, my ace again, she went without me. But at the time in my dental drop, it's impossible to take time off. You're only allowed to take time off when the dentist is gone. And so again, like, it was just poking at me, like, I want time freedom. I want to be my own boss, but I just didn't have the confidence or know how, or didn't have sales background or network marketing background. And I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't know. So my own ace went to Thrive-Palooza without me, by herself, meeting so many people. And I'm like, oh, like, have fun. And here I am, just still working in my 9-to-5 dental job. And so, you know, the dream board, it freaking works, you know. And even though I didn't go in with the best intention, I saw it every day on my vanity. And so shortly after she came back from Thrive-Palooza, and we hit 12K together that following May. And we ended up getting the same car together. And, she got a white Mercedes, I got a black one. And it was just, even then, guys, you're gonna have naysayers. My husband was so skeptical, and he's like, and what if you don't hit? What if you don't re-rank 12K? And I'm like, don't worry about it. We're gonna do it. And all of a sudden my mind started to change because Twin was doing power hours Monday to Friday every day. And it was my routine when I was getting ready for work, it was my routine every single day to do it as I got ready. And then I started to take notes all of a sudden because I told myself, maybe one day I might do my own team Zooms. I got to take notes and be inspired. And so, it was just crazy. My husband couldn't believe it. Friends and family couldn't believe it. I've had people in my life, there's going to be hurdles that you guys have that even my own husband was skeptical. Even my own friends would ask about what I was doing to my own family. They couldn't even ask me in person. And these were supposed to be good friends of mine. And they were just like, oh, really? Like, is she actually getting a Benz though? And those things hurt, but it drove me. It drove me harder, and the thing is like, shortly after that, they announced Jamaica. Jamaica was our first all-inclusive. And, being a young parent, the kids were always put first. School was always put first. And it was one of those things where me and my husband never had a trip alone together. Like there was no time for that. There was no time to be alone one-on-one. It was either we go on a trip with the kids or none at all. And so, Thrive did that for us, and when they announced that trip, and I was like, we're going to do this. We're going to go on this trip. And again, like my girlfriend was always just like, we're going to go. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, are you sure? It's friggin' June. I've been here for so long. And she was still like, we can do it. Like, and I was like, okay, we'll see. And so, going to Jamaica, it was all fun. You go to your first lifestyle getaway. We qualified, we made it. It was a costume party. I'm like, what the heck? Where am I right now? This is not real life. And actually that year, that summer, like there's going to be hurdles in your life, and I'm just kind of like naming them as we go. But my grandpa passed away, that summer. And my car at the time was a Mitsubishi SUV that's 11 years old. And thank God for Thrive for paying an auto bonus for us that we have a safe car to drive home. And I was able to just pick up and leave. My dental office was closed at the time. I still worked full time. But, I was also excited at the same time because I'm like, people need to see this. Like, I'm real. Like, I'm doing this. I'm taking this seriously, and I'm going to show them that I take it seriously and not half-assing this opportunity. And so, that made my family be more supportive, and friends were like, no way. And so we went to Jamaica. It was life-changing. It was fun. You go with the intention of having fun, and then, you kind of just keep doing the business. It's like what Jason Camper said. Like, it's really simple. If you guys are taking the products, why are we overthinking about sharing it every day? You love it, don't you? It's like people sharing their workouts or a cup of coffee. It's really no different, but we overthink. So, you got to stay close to the fire and be able to see things from a different perspective, share from a different perspective, know what's working and not working, and surround yourself with positive people. Because me sharing that person for me that's what changed my business, because there were always other people who believed in it more than me. And that's the thing, is you push a little bit out of your comfort zone a little more at a time. And it's funny because even hosting my first local, nobody came. It was all promoters. It was my first living room local. I was mortified. And then shortly after, Twin came down and flew down and was like, you're sharing your story, can you share it? And I was like, okay. And so she came down. She flew down over here to Calgary. And that's when I really saw Sideline Teams for the first time too, and how big and supportive our community actually really is, and making that effort and that time to go spend time with your team. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she's like real person. I don't even know if she remembers, but I was like, oh my God, you're in front of me. It's so weird. And then it was just, I don't know, she's a blue. So it just like naturally was like, oh, I want to be like that. And, and Jamaica, my husband loved it. We were loving Thrive. And we ended up qualifying for Riviera Maya that 2020 in February. And it was fun. And actually, that was the first trip that I actually ever talked to. My husband saw Paul, and he was like, "Oh, there's a line to go talk to him." And my husband was like, "Go talk to him." Like, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so shy, you know." But I was like, "Okay, fine." So I went to go wait in line, talk to him, and it's just amazing of like how personable and humble everyone is, and like just to be like grateful for the resources that we do have, because that 50% of wanting to be inspired comes from you. You have to put in halfway through the work, because everyone else is here showing up, but you have to meet them halfway, you know. And talking to him like changed my business as well. And um I remember at this Riviera Maya, the second getaway, and I was like, I want my team here. Like, it's not as fun without my team here, because Twins team was growing and growing, and there's new faces. And I'm like, I want my team to be here. Like, I don't want to just celebrate this by myself. And you know, it's the beginning of 2020. Who would have thought a pandemic would have even happened? And it's so crazy because I remember it so vividly on the way home. This was March, and things middle of March of 2020, when things were starting to go down, and me and my husband were flying home, and people were just like wiping their chairs and wearing masks already. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, what, like, is this real life right now? And so grateful that we were able to experience this before everything shut down here in Canada and locked down, and my dental office closed for a couple months. But you know what? Like, when that pandemic happened, I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity to work from home and take this seriously and work this business like a business. Like, this is something I would like, I want, you know, like my dental office closed, I get to do this business. And so I didn't want to take like past that opportunity of taking advantage of the time of being home. So, you know, it's crazy to think that we were a 12K team in February 2020, and a pandemic happened in March. And then that May, we became a 40K and an 80K in 1 month. And when hitting both of those targets, I was at Home Depot on the weekends with my husband doing our landscaping and stuff. And it was crazy. They had bonuses at the time, and I didn't know what they were, what my paycheck would look like, but I'm like, hey, I'm gonna run. I don't know what this means, but like, let's run anyways, you know. And it's such a life-changing opportunity, because you can work this full time and add up those little things, and learn and grow and be like, everyone has the same hours in the day, you know. And things will happen unexpectedly that you would never think of. And then all of a sudden my husband saw, like, there were times where I would give up times outside. I'm like, can you just take the kids to the park? I'm not coming. Or there were kids, like our family things, that functions, and I'm like, I can go, but only for a little bit. I got to go back home, you know. Helping him with the landscaping, like I do the yard work with him outside, but we're shopping together, like, but I'm working my business there. There's times that it's going to be like that. There's times where it won't be like that. So, you know, it's just take every opportunity that presents itself to you and just do it scared, do it like who knows what might happen, but go in with like a good intention, you know. And it was so sad. We were so sad. Obviously, October getaway like didn't happen, right? And I told myself, like, I want to bring people. So, you know, when is that? Like 2020, I think it was Cabo. Like, people were able to qualify with us and take them with us. And it was still iffy at the time. We could not travel in Canada. Everyone was like, you're going to get fined. You're going to get, you know, this is going to happen. And I'm like, oh, I guess maybe we just won't go, because we weren't sure if we get stuck and stuff like that. Right. And things are going to happen in your business, but don't ever let that deter you from where you want to go. You know, that's why you have a dream board. That's why you have a team, and you light each other's fires, and you have a community and resources to plug into. Like, don't take advantage, don't take that for granted. And you know, shortly after that, like, I when did we go to it was our recent trip. Our recent trip in, was it Mexico? Um in June. And I was like, you know what, I'm going. Prior to that, it was Thrive-Palooza. And I'm like, I've been here for 3 years and I need to go to a Thrive-Palooza. And and then, you know, pandemic happened. And actually, like, it was the last month of rank advancements this year. And I I was booked and all ready to go and did my PCR test, and I actually found out I got COVID through my husband's work. So ironic. I work from home, super sick. It was the last like week, 2 weeks of April. I couldn't go with Ripalooza. I cried. And my husband being the way that he is, because you know he doesn't get the business like we do, you know, but he's always there, he's supportive, but he's just like, I don't even know why you're crying, like we're sick. And I was like, but I want to go. And it's the FOMO, right? Like my whole team's gonna be there, I want to go too. And you know, things just don't pan out the way you want it to sometimes. But you know what, even though I was deathly sick, I couldn't do anything, I was sweating on my power hours, I still got up every day. I still ran for, you know, 40K rank advancement on my husband's leg, you know, and I still ran for people who were doing their 4K, 12K rank advancements. Honestly, COVID wasn't an excuse for me. I'm home. I'm going to work the best that I can and then rest after. So that's what we did, you know, and my husband ended up hitting his 40K rank advancement that earlier this year. And yeah, it sucked that I missed it. I cried about it. But you know what? There's going to be more. And that's what everyone needs to understand. You get 3 chances every single year to qualify on a getaway. What are you doing with these chances? You know, like you have every month to plan ahead before the year ends of, are you going to be a 12K and what's your plan to go get there? Like who's coming with you? It's not about you, right? Like it's about how can I help others? You know, how can I help people like have the same life, you know, their dream life? What's their why? Know your team's why, you know? And so, you know, COVID happened. So when our summer getaway came up in Mexico again, I was just like, I am not missing it and I'm going. And I told my husband, I'm like, bye, I'm leaving you. So it was actually the first trip that I actually ever done by myself. And the hardest thing was my team that came got separated at another resort. Of course. I was like, of course that's going to happen. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to make friends with like, you know, the American leg on twins. And I'm like very, very introvert, very shy, and everyone's super kind, you know, and it's just crazy because Thrive will push you out of your comfort zone if you let it. If you're closed minded to it, then you'll probably be stuck at the same where you are, you know, 6 months, a year from now, you know. So you got to be able to seize the opportunity, seize the day, and be like, you know what, it's okay, I'm going to make friends. And we, you know, and I did. And my husband even said, he's like, he's so worried about me because, you know, I'm traveling alone, but at the end of it, he's like, I'm happy you're having fun and I'm happy like you're doing all these things, because I would have never in a million years 3 years ago think that I would ever do something like that and be afraid, but you know, I'm going to do it anyway. um but you know, it's crazy. It's been like been a whirlwind of like 3 years. And you know, during the whole time in the pandemic too, you know, it was great ranking 80. And like they always say, like people will come and go out of your business. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you show up. And you know, just remember, I think the biggest thing was, you know, hitting 80K was great because it's like it came from a place where I'm like, I'm going to prove those naysayers wrong. But then I also learned that like that also comes not from a good place either, because you should be doing this for yourself, not to prove people wrong. And that's the thing, like you know, being an 80K leg that last year during the pandemic, fall came around and I kind of felt lost again, like that fire was gone. And I actually decided to do my yoga course, and just with intention to like, I need to figure out myself. I need to figure out what I want. I need to figure out how to be more self-aware. How am I going to help my team accomplish that? It was never about money. It was never about doing something in another network. And I came in with the intention of growing myself, self-development. And so, you know, I ended up, yeah, I ended up quitting my dental job and doing this full time, and then being at home. You know, you get in your thoughts, and that happens, guys. But when you get when that happens to you and you get in your head and you get in your thoughts, that's when you need team the most. And I think that's the biggest thing that people don't understand is like, you know, you pull away because you need your me time, but at the end you're hurting yourself because you're not surrounding yourself with people that will help you grow, that will be honest. The honest friendship that's like, I'm here for you, but what do you need out of this? If you don't want Thrive, then that's okay too. Like love them where they're at, you know. But at the same time, for like, you have to go in with an intention of like, let me help you, like what do you need, not even business wise. And so, you know, fast forward now, like it's crazy. I still temp dental. I help whenever anyone needs to call me and be like, hey, can you fill in? This person called in sick. You know, I'm going to start doing my yoga opportunity instructing classes, but now I'm going in with an entrepreneur mindset of like, maybe one day I'll host my own, maybe I'll make great connections. But, you know, at the end of the day, what's my intention and energy when I do something? It's not going to be because I'm proving people wrong. It's going to be because I want to help people. I want to help change lives. I want to make a difference. I want to live with purpose. I want to help others have different like options to live with their life, you know? And that's the thing. You guys have to learn to, I think, you know, being like 3 years in here and you learn as you go. You're a different leader than probably than who you were last year or 6 months ago. But the point is that you're learning and you're growing. And whenever you redo that dream board and it's different every time and you look at it, if it's the same, then maybe be afraid about it because you didn't grow. But if your dream board's changing every like 6 months to a year, be proud of yourself because you're growing. Even if you're at the same rank for 2 years, at least you're accomplishing what's on your board and you're going to get there. But you have to have faith in that process and detach yourself from the result and focus on your energy and intention. Because there came a point in my time, like when rank advancement came up and I'm like, oh my God, I want to hit 200K so bad. And I wanted it so bad. And then, you know, but because I pressured myself on that goal, it was one of those things that it didn't really find a way that will speak to you when you do your own dream board. And when I said I am 200K and I look at it, like for some reason it didn't speak to me because you guys know yourself best and you know what inspires you. And if that's like, so I'm starting to learn, you know, listening to more podcasts and like detaching myself from the result and realizing your energy and intention. You know, if that's wanting to help people, give people extra options to have extra income every single week, like go in with good energy, not the half-ass type, like I'm gonna, oh my God, I didn't post anything all day, I'm gonna go post it right now. What's the energy behind that? Are you doing it just because you didn't post anything all day, or are you actually gonna make a difference and make an impact? Because at the end of the day, even if someone didn't want my Thrive post, I still post other things. You guys are more than Lavelle promoters here. You have a life outside of Thrive. How do you want to inspire and make an impact on other people? You know, you're more than just a PDF. Show your face. And that takes time, it takes practice, but it's like, you know, building a resume. You're gonna get thrown in, but you have no choice but to show up at a new job every day. You know, but here you're your own boss. No one's gonna micromanage you. And your success is really based on how far you want to go and how much grit do you have, and to keep going, to like wipe your knees off and be like, oh, she's not here, but you know what, it's okay because I'm going to find someone with the same passion as me. But write those, you know, like do your gratitude journal. That's like changed my life every single day. But now it's just different than what it was 3 years ago, from 1 year ago, 2 years ago. It's different intentions now, different energy, and I'm trying to focus on, you know, but that's part of like being in this business. You learn and you grow and you find yourself. If you decide to be open, if you decide to be accountable, if you have determination, desire, and, you know, dedication, just like what Jason Kemper said. And that Zoom yesterday like lit my soul on fire. But yeah, that's like my that's my 3.5 years here, Lisa. But
You know, when you were telling like your story, if you guys have picked up on all of the freaking tips and golden nuggets, first of all, chill works because you do not seem nervous at all. Okay. Every time. And you can tell that you guys don't miss one of these Zooms because I don't even have to ask questions. You like know, you know the drill. But one of the things that stuck out to me, number one, is sometimes we may be talking to someone about this business and we're not talking to them about the right thing to get them interested, because you were happy. You felt financially stable. You were like, I don't need extra money. Like, but what really turned you on was the fact that you were going to be able to help people. Like, I can tell you're totally yellow. But you got some red in you, girl, because I know you like to run after stuff like bonuses and prizes. But it was just like how the other tip I really picked up on is, so make sure you guys aren't just focused on, figure out who your prospect is and what they are looking for. Ask questions, because you might be pushing the bonuses and money and they're just kind of not connecting with that. So that was a huge tip. But also, whoever was whoever signed you up, they never gave up on you. And they let you go at your pace. Like nobody pushed you, but they also kept checking in with you. Hey, did you know you could go get this? Hey, did you know you're only $250 away from 4K? Like there's so many times that we're not paying attention. And if we just could message someone and go, did you know you're only one customer away from hitting VIP? Sometimes people don't know. They're new, they don't realize it. And it's like it'll light that fire and that spark. So it's just ton of golden nuggets. The dream board, even if you think it's silly, do it because it ended up being something that you're like, okay, hey, well, I get this, you know what I mean? And then I also think every little aspect of when you talked about, things change and it does take only one person. It was somebody that actually you ended up sharing it with that took off that kind of pushed you into getting interested too. It's like, oh my God, okay, maybe I need to do this too. Um, and life is going to happen. I mean, for every person on here, but don't get sidetracked. And it's not a race. You know what I mean? I know we all have this vision in our head of where we want to be at a certain time. I think that's just human nature to go, okay, within 3 years, this is where I want to be. And then when we don't hit that place, a lot of people give up. They put deadlines, timelines on their success. And I always tell people, if you're going to put a deadline on your success, quit now because you're going to have lots of disappointments in this business. It doesn't go as planned. And the only thing, like you said, you can control is you. Like, what are you doing every day? What are your actions? Pivoting and when things happen, realizing it's okay. You know what I mean? And you're not going to have the same people with you when you go 4K to 12K to 40 to 80, to that next level. Like different people come and go in your business. And sometimes we sign people up and we're like, oh my God, they're going to be so good. And then they don't do anything. Like, or vice versa, where we think, oh, this person's really not going to do anything. And then they explode. So it's just about not underestimating anybody and giving, loving people where they are. I kind of want to know you personally. I mean, I know your team, like Twin Under, you guys have the best social medias. Like seriously, your guys, like I want to join every time I see one of y'all's posts. I'm like, I want to rejoin. Where do I sign? Because you guys really show the community, but you also show the lifestyle. It's like a happy medium of everything. Like it's not braggy, but and you guys are real people just out there having fun. What are some social media tips or just any tips for people to grow their network? Like what did you do to grow yours? And um like is there anything you think people need to do every day when it comes to social media?
Like I think it really just depends on how quick you learn and apply. Someone can always say, "Oh, I'm going to do that next week. I'm going to do that at the end of the month. I'll do it when my life's not a little crazy and it settles down and then I'll go do it." It's really how fast you learn and apply and just do it scared. I honestly, prior to Thrive, all I posted was my dogs and my kids. I didn't even know what a story was. I didn't even know how to use a story. And you come in this business, and if you are new, it's really just about like, who are you? What speaks to you? Like Thrive really helped me find myself, just surrounding myself with people, because this was the first time ever, besides like childhood friends and family, of like the expectations of what you're supposed to do. You grow up like, you gotta go be a nurse, you gotta go college, you gotta go do this. And it's like everyone's telling you what to do. And then you kind of lose yourself. And then you're thrown in this opportunity. And it's like, what do you want? I'm like, oh, I don't know what I want. You know, it takes this community to push that out of you. And no one's ever really asked you. You kind of just go to school and do your thing, robotic thing every single week. And no one ever asks you what your dreams are and how big do you want to be. And I think that's the biggest thing was, surrounding yourself with people and watching other people's stories, see what speaks to you, see what you don't like, and then you slowly start to find yourself. Because don't ever hide yourself behind a PDF picture. I like to experiment, and being here for quite some time, I like to experiment on my social media. Like you hear your fives list, Lindsay Coggins, like I love that. She talked about her fives list of what makes you you. And we're more than leaders here. We're more than promoters here. You have a life. Even if there you hear it all the time, well, I don't want to be spammy. It's like, well, you're not. That's just in your head though. We all thought that at one point. And you know what? Stories, it's social media. You're free to whoever you want, be who you want to be. So, even if that's a workout, even if it's walking my dog, make a reel about that. What makes you you, and think about those things. And you'll eventually, with practice and consistency, you'll eventually be comfortable. And then people get to know your personality through your posts without even talking to you. That's the point. Like, right? Everyone's goal is to want to be comfortable knowing that they can ask you any Thrive question. Hey, I saw Thrive, been watching you for a while. That's what everyone's goal is, right? Like, you don't want a cold message and like talk to people and then turn them off. Like, if that turns you off, like it turns me off, why would I do that to other people? I just won't do it, So I'm like, you know what? I would just share what makes you you, be comfortable, start at one thing, don't look at the whole staircase, focus on one step that makes you uncomfortable, and focus on that until it gets easier. Because I still get nervous doing trainings like this, especially when there's so many people on, but you know what? I'm still going to do it because in my head, I'll tell myself it's just practice for something better. It's just practice for something more. And I tell myself that even though I'm terrified. And that's speaking lives on my stories. Like, I look back and I'm just like, oh my God, like I can't even look at the little camera thing. And it freaked me out, but over time you become less and less afraid of something the more you do it and more consistent. Like, that's how you learn, that's how you grow. And like, embrace that part, embrace the learning part, because once that's over, you're like, okay, on to the next. What can I do? What have I not done? And especially right now, the year is ending and it's going to be 2022. Reflect on your year this year. What did you accomplish? What did what are you proud of? And then next year, how can you make next year better as a better leader? What can you do differently? That's what I'm always thinking, is like, man, when I look back in my first year or my second year of my business, I'm like, oh, I really wish I would have done this better. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm here now. You learn and you grow and you try to be better than who you were last year. Like, it's always a different intention every couple months. But with social media, you have to, I think, if you think that you're spammy, you're not comfortable with who you are. You have to be comfortable with you, who you are. If you're funny, if people because if you care so much about what people think about you, you need to learn more self-love and like learn more about yourself, self-awareness. That's exactly why I did my yoga program, was because I'm like, I need this for me. And it was non-Thrive related at all, but sometimes you got to do different routines to see what speaks to you, whether that's like, I've tried so many like podcasts, journaling, different things like that, but you know you best. And if you think you're spammy, then you're not comfortable with who you are just yet. You have to find that for you, and eventually keep tapping into the, I don't even care. Because you get to this point now where you'll see Twins like posting whatever, parties, community, hanging out with team, and like, no one cares anymore. Because it's like, you want to be authentic. You want to be authentic. You want to be yourself. And if that does scare you, then maybe work on the inner work first of being comfortable with who you are. And then that comes out later. But you got to do the work of like, sometimes it's so hard to grow business wise when like, I don't even know anything. I have zero experience, but but I do know I want to help people. I do know I want to give them different opportunities and give them the option of living a life like me. Like, what do they want? What would they want? Because I loved putting my kids in camp, which I couldn't afford before. What are you showing every single week on your paycheck? And it's about painting that picture for others, and not just look what I have, look at my car, look at this. No, like, I am yellow. I think actually, I did the color test. I do the color test like maybe 3 times once a year. And first 2 years I was yellow. And then this year I'm actually blue yellow this year, but it's probably because hanging out and going lifestyle getaways too much.
I was gonna say, it's probably from hanging out with Twin.
Yeah.
She's so blue. She's like me. I love what you said about, if you think you're spam. I mean, I think people that think they're spammy, you don't know who you are. You're insecure. Look, if you love Thrive, if Lavelle is part of your life, if you truly love what it's doing for you and other people, that would be a natural thing to want to share and post about. It has nothing to do with being spammy. And I wanted to say something to everybody really quick while this is on my mind. in the beginning of your business, I know we hear all about this attraction marketing and be careful about posting about Lavelle, but I truly believe that in the beginning, what got me here today was me sharing my product. It was me saying, I need people to join me. It was me saying, hey, and actually, it was something that Kaylee Krupp on our team made a post about. And I'm like, dude, for real. Like, what an older person does in this business that's been in 2, 3, 4 years is so different than what a new person needs to be doing. And we need to train that because it's just not the same thing. A new person needs to be putting out there, hello, I'm in a new company. Hello, I'm doing this awesome business. I'm changing lives. Like, people need to know what's going on before they just jump straight into trying to be stealthy on what they do. So that just popped in my head when you were talking about that, because I'm like, it's so true. So true about the whole, if you think you're spammy, it's really an insecurity that, something you got to let go of and figure out what makes you you, what are those things that, on top of Thrive that make you you, and then intertwine that with Thrive. Like, I think that is so important. And you already touched on self-development, which I was going to ask you about, which you are so right. Like, not whatever inspires one person might not inspire another person. You know yourself best. What are those things that get you upbeat, motivated, positive, excited? That's super important. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. So we don't have that much time left, but I guess I would love for you to share what you think, if whether somebody's brand new or they've been in 4 or 5 years, what do you think are like the 3 or 4 most important things that people need to do in order for their business to grow consistently? Like, no matter what, these are the things that you need to do. And the one thing that really stood out to me was you said living room locals a couple different times. And you guys, I mean, success leaves clues. And I think one of the biggest things that, you know, Twin and her and Ashley, all of you guys, I think the biggest thing that you guys do is you create that community, and you have living room locals, and you have locals, and you're just keeping the main thing the main thing. And so staying connected, I think, is one of the messages I got from your talk today was, man, stay connected, because that's going to keep you connected and excited. But what are some other things that you think, man, people, you got to do this or else you're not going to see success? You won't.
Yeah, it's definitely the community and surrounding yourself with the ones that are working. Like the fire. Like, it doesn't matter what your upline's doing, what your sideline, your downlines are doing. What are you doing, and are you proud of yourself of how you're showing up? And whether that's people with you or not with you, or you're wanting to build a team, like, are you proud and that you're doing everything that you could despite the result that might happen? Are you doing what you could do to grow it out of your comfort zone, showing up to your business every single day? Not everyone is going to be 100 all the time. Not everyone's always gonna be like, I'm fine. Like, that's still not healthy either. Like, you have to know your balance and like have a balance of your family life, work life, but your non-negotiables of showing up every single day. Sometimes when I'm out and and about with doing family things or parties and stuff like that, or taking the kids out, like, I'll take quick clips. If I'm grocerying, I'll take quick clips and save it, and then when I get home, I'll post it later. Like, you don't have to worry about like overthinking and thinking about like, oh my God, do I have to think about Thrive 24/7? I'm at the grocery store. What do I post here? How does she do that? No, it just whatever. And then if nothing comes of it, if you don't post it later, then it doesn't. But go in with the intention of like, oh, this is actually really funny, I'm going to show this. Or oh, my kids are hilarious. It's showing who you are, your personality, and just having those non-negotiables. Like, if you're going to have a team Zoom, have your damn team Zoom, either if that's one person, because it makes all the difference to that one person, even if no one else is there. Like, even if I'm on vacation visiting my mom back home, like back home in Winnipeg, and I have to help her doing all this stuff, and my non-negotiables team Zoom in the morning, I'll never miss that. Like, I'll have to make sure I show up at a point every single time. Always show that your business is open. Always post when you don't feel like it. It's like going to your regular job. You know, like you show up even when you don't feel like it. It's okay to not feel 100 every single day. It's okay. Like, you know, I think there's other things that I've come across too, you know, like, well, I don't want to be fake and like I'm happy all the time. Then don't be, but don't be negative and don't, you know, like there's one thing that I will never share is just negativity and politics. And that's just me because I want to be able, like, I want people to look at my social media and be like, oh, inspired, empowered, uplift them on a day. Because if I know, the thing is, like, you find your brand, but it takes time on what speaks to you when you're comfortable with yourself. And that's like my non-negotiable is posting once a day, my best, like, you know, and even if I don't, okay, well, I'll make sure I do it tomorrow. I'm not gonna like talk to myself and be like, oh, I'm so crappy. I know I haven't been here and like, or I didn't post or like I'll do it later. But you know what? Like when for me, like if that ever, I know my mindset, like as much as I love my family and visiting back home in Winnipeg, like it's who you surround yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, I love my family, but like back home visiting, but I become a negative, grouchy person. So, you know, like for me, it's like I already know that I enjoy it, but I'm like, know your boundaries, know what sets you off and protect your peace, guys. Like protect it because that's something that will keep you going every single day and know what you need to do and to have that mental release if you had a bad day. You know, if that zooms for me. Like I love coming in the morning, even though I feel crappy, because it just gives me more purpose to be like, oh, like I need to surround myself with team because at least I know they're feeling like I need to borrow their energy right now, you know? But yeah, like that's like a non-negotiable for me is just showing up that you're open because the moment you don't show up, they're gonna go to someone else. The moment you don't show up, oh, I don't even know if that girl's thriving anymore. They're gonna come to the person that they know is. Like, even if you're posting non-thrive related, at least you're on there, you know, like at least you're there. And even if it's one, okay, then it's one. You don't need to self-sabotage yourself and then be like, oh, and then one day goes by, then 3 days go by. No, you just got to learn and apply and pick up quick, right? And that's really what it is just knowing what you need, let it go, and then move on. Because you have to be able to save yourself, like
I
from
love
negative.
that. So true. Like you have to, you know, no matter how you're feeling, this is like a job. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to make business money, you've got to treat it like a business. And when you don't feel like showing up, you still got to show up. You know what I mean? But in the end, the rewards for showing up every day are so much greater than any job, you know, could ever be if, you know, at the end of the day, if you make the decision, you're not going to give up and quit. Well, Ashley, I just want to thank you so much for hopping on today and sharing with everybody. I just love your story. I think there's so many people that can relate. Like they didn't want to do this, you know, it wasn't on their radar. And now it's ended up being one of the best blessings in their life. And I'm just excited to watch your business continue to grow. I know you're not going anywhere. I know you're on the right ship. And I'm excited to just see what other dreams your family is going to be able to, you know, conquer with this company. It's going to be cool to watch. So thank you so much for hopping on today and sharing with us.
Thank you.
And for everybody on, thank you guys for joining us every single week. Again, if you're new, we do this every week and it's payday, you guys. Again, that never gets old, right? Tuesdays, I always say we get paid twice, once with our paycheck, obviously, and then another time with this Zoom. And we're just so blessed when leaders volunteer to hop on here and share their stories and their tips because it could just be one little thing that you need to tweak or switch up or do a little bit differently that could change everything. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, one thing rings true no matter who I interview on here, everybody's committed, right? They're in it for the long haul and they don't give up. They just keep going. They push through no matter what's happening. And, you know, that's that's the difference between somebody that's going to be successful and not. So I just want to thank you guys so much. Happy Tuesday. Don't forget to make your payday post today. Very important. You know, it's somebody seeing that Lavelle just put gas in your car for a week or fridge in your, you know, food in your fridge for a week. That's what people relate to. Not, oh, I just bought a Mercedes. Like those things are great, but people are like, okay, yeah, yeah, right. Sure. But when you post smaller things like, oh my gosh, it just paid part of my rent or bills for the month, that's what people are connect to. They truly, truly do. So don't forget to make that post today. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Same time, same place. New leaders sharing their story. don't forget to plug your new people in. I'd still like to hit my goal of hitting 500 people on our morning Zoom before the end of the year. Maybe it'll happen. I don't know. I've got definite, I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to happen. I'm putting it into the universe. All right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you next week. Thanks again, Ashley. You're awesome.
Thank you.